Ladies and gentlemen, all of us were in doom and gloom mode, weren't we? All of us assumed this week would be completely predictable. Todrick was confirmed as the new HOH. We all had a collective sigh of disdain. We couldn't believe the fact that he won it, but at the same time, we all knew by CARSON leaving last week, it was basically Misha and Todrick versus Lamar for HOH because no one believed Cynthia could win a comp. It set up Cynthia and Lamar to fail, essentially, ladies and gentlemen. Now, over the past couple of days, with all of the AFP talk, a lot of people have been going out of their way to give Lamar a little bit too much credit. Understand, there's a reason why when Shanna left this game, she said she was rooting for Todd to win. It's because she saw the potential in Todd to win the comps towards the end to be able to disband the duo of Misha and Todrick eventually. She didn't see that potential in Lamar or Cynthia. Well, she was mad at Cynthia, so she didn't even give her a hug. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I was very apprehensive when it came to endorsing Lamar for AFP. Not that he doesn't deserve it after Shanna. I think he's a very formidable second place person for that. But at the end of the day, he hasn't won any comps. He hasn't contributed enough to the strategy. And just being entertaining isn't good enough to win America's favorite player, in my humble opinion, as a purist of this game. Now, we now know that Todd Bridges has won the Power of Veto, ladies and gentlemen. This changes everything because all of you know that Todd Bridges became the enemy of Misha, Tate, and Todrick because they painted him in a sexist light over feeds within the last 4 or 5 days, give or take. Also, Misha is trying to position herself as Todrick's guardian angel who defends him at every turn from these heterosexual black men who are just too hard on him, that don't give him the benefit of the doubt. So understand, ladies and gentlemen, in this 17th rant of Celebrity Big Brother Season 3, I'm going to break down why Todrick is spoiled for choice here, tonight's rant title. I'm also going to break down why he is in a position where he's in a lose-lose situation now. If he betrays Misha, he probably loses her vote too. If he stays loyal to her and he throws up Cynthia on her birthday weekend, ladies and gentlemen, the black community will never look at him the same way. But to be fair, I never looked at him any different. I mean, if anything, this season's just proving everything I've ever said about the guy was true. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed, the Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon exclusively sponsored Hall of Fame, Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. I'm, of course, your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smid Dog Trio, The Rant God, Hotep Thanos, Throne Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the Pro Black Prodigy, the Shadow Realm Shaman, the Pronoun Punisher, and now the No Sleep Assassin, here to bring balance back to Celebrity Big Brother Season 3, all of the above on that ISAT test at ACT. You know what it is. And I did not think I would be giving y'all a Saturday night rant. You feel me? Listen, I didn't even care about All-Star Saturday night as soon as I found out Todd won veto. I'm that much of a super fan of this game. I'm a bit addicted, what can I say? But ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy that Todd pulled this out because he is the only one with any legitimate ability to split up Todrick and Misha. And before people start throwing it out there that, oh, Dave, come on, Todrick, he has to see this is his move, right? Backdoor Misha, get her out the game. That's your winning move. You make it to Final 2, maybe the jury views him differently because he was willing to cut Misha, and it changes the way they view his game entirely. I'm willing to agree with you on that. But I don't think Todrick has the stones. I don't think he has the balls to backdoor Misha. I think this guy is so fixated on splitting up Todd and Lamar that he is going to throw up Cynthia on her birthday weekend. Huh? He's the same guy singing, happy birthday to you. Stop singing the black version of that song because you're showing us how off code you are because you're finna have 2 black people on the block during your HOH week with 5 people left when Misha washes all 4 of y'all she makes it to Final 2. Are you an idiot? See, now y'all see why the koofies are on the thumbnail. We finna freestyle tonight. Huh? Listen, get yourself a cold beverage. It's Saturday night, Coach. If you're here tonight, I'm happy. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with RBR. I appreciate y'all. Salute to the super chat. Salute to Ann. Salute to Lola. We finna get it in because there's a lot of things for us to discuss. On the surface, it looks quite obvious what's gonna happen. But I need to break down the context on a deeper level because that's what my channel is all about. Understand, Todrick built his entire narrative. The only reason why he even was an alternate for this season is because he found out at the last second that the cookout was cooking. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's not even a real super fan. He's a recruit, and he confirmed it earlier today on live feeds because he said, and I quote, and salute to Hamster Watch for documenting this. He said, and I quote, the people that were in the cookout were so iconic, and I'd see it on Facebook and hear things about it. I was like, what's the cookout? What's going on? And notice how Hamster Watch clowned him for being a fake superfan with that emoji smirking. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, how do you call yourself a superfan and you're on Facebook? Who goes to Facebook for Big Brother conversations? Anyone who's been black that goes on Facebook knows that's not the best place for black people to discuss Big Brother. I'm just being honest. So right there, you know what side of the plate Todrick is on. We already get it. So understand, when he inevitably does not throw up Misha Tate, on that double eviction episode on Monday night, there's going to be so many people looking at him like he's a clown, even more so than they already do now. And the episode tonight already threw him under the bus. They showed us the real context of what he had to say to KIRKPATRICK. And salute to KIRKPATRICK because he was fearless and he said what happened and he never backed away from what happened. And production substantiated what happened in that fight by providing a flashback. So now we know for a fact they must not like Todrick that much because now they're finally telling the full 360-degree view perspective on his game entirely. This is all I ever asked for. This is the only reason why I complained about all these 2-hour Friday night episodes that had little to no real game talk in it and a whole bunch of stuff that just felt like gimmicks. I complain about these things because I knew on the cutting room floor, you had so much stuff that y'all didn't add into the edit that would have given more context as to why certain people are playing certain ways. So, understand, ladies and gentlemen, Todrick refuses to turn on Misha even when he can't beat her, okay? CARSON last week and Cynthia made a deal with him. Hey, man, vote to keep CARSON, send Lamar out the door. You got our jury votes no matter what. He decides, I don't need your jury votes. I'm sending you out the game, CARSON. I'm keeping Lamar. During tonight's episode, he creates this. Man, you could tell this guy is delusional. He creates the argument that Lamar is somehow his big brother husband, okay? Now, this is already giving me flashbacks to Shan from Survivor, claiming that the dude Ricard was her Survivor husband. I didn't like that either. So whenever you have a situation where people are trying to force ships, even if they're joking with someone who's not into that type of sexuality, I always have to call a red flag there. Because at the end of the day, you should be able to be funny without incorporating that into your stand-up routine, if you will. But I digress. So understand, you call Lamar Odom your BB husband. You sent CARSON home over Lamar just so you could paint these two straight black men as the big bad wolf. Even though Lamar really isn't that much of a threat to anyone because he can't win a damn thing. With Todd winning this veto, the best move every time is to take out the best player available on the board. The best player available with Todd being now safe is Misha Tate, long and far away. For this guy to not be willing to allow Cynthia to have this week off the block, when Todd was willing last week to do that for Cynthia, I need you to wake up too. Let's talk about it. If this dude is willing to throw you up on the block during your birthday weekend, but Todd, 3 days after a fight with you, was unwilling to do the same thing, you need to start putting some respect on Todd's name and stop nut-hugging Todrick so much. And the same thing goes for Tiffany, it goes for Hannah, it goes for Kylan, because I got to keep it real with y'all. Y'all only half of the cookout, but that half is holding back the other half's reputation too. Y'all are giving them a negative rub-off here, because the way y'all defend Todrick at every turn, y'all really don't think the reason why they didn't endorse Shanna, The reason why they didn't endorse Shayna was because they didn't want Todrick to be mad on finale night. This man got to come back to his home where they are at, camping it out, and he's got to deal with the fact that Shayna won AFP. Come on, man. They don't want to deal with the landlord being mean towards them. So they're trying their best to rig the system. Hey, guys, I'm going to use my influence to get you all to vote for 3 different people. How about Lamar, MARAI, and Shayna? How about that? So let's split these votes among 3 different people. That way, we can guarantee Shayna has a harder chance of winning. And see, my problem with this is, number one, Hannah grew up with most of her friends being white girls. Let's keep it real. The Cookout allowed her to rebrand herself as being someone who's around black folks all the time. Tiffany, her best friend within the game was a white woman with blonde hair too. For her to not endorse Shayna when Shayna, I mean, you even had fans coming at Tiffany's neck on social media. How you going to endorse Lamar? And see, this is what I tried to allude to in the last rant. Tiffany and Davon never once ever gave any credit to straight black men until they absolutely had to during their respective seasons. I mean, Davon, one of her most viral moments is clowning Jose for saying scenarios and thinking he knows the game. And Davon thought she knew the game so much, but she got clowned for thinking she knew too much too. So at the end of the day, what y'all gotta understand is the way David Alexander was mistreated by Davon, the way Kevin Campbell was mistreated by Davon, in favor of her believing Danny Donato and Nicole F. For this woman to not give Shayna her endorsement clearly shows a conflict of interest there too. Because when it was her game on the line, oh, I don't believe you black men. I believe the white women. But then all of a sudden now, they're even trying to rebrand themselves in their image. You got to understand the trick bag here. And see, this is the funniest part. Last night, Tiffany was all about vote for my guy Lamar for AFP, right? She was with it. She was siege mentality with Davon. Siege mentality, right? Right. Okay, cool. All right, bet. But then, earlier today, during the episode in which Todrick was getting bashed by production something serious, all of a sudden Tiffany comes out of nowhere and says, honestly, Shayna should win AFP so that she and the house guests can see how much we really love her. She's a favorite, and she deserves that. At the same time, Lamar is loved too, so I wish both of them luck. Now, why couldn't you say that yesterday? You couldn't say that yesterday because you were still caping up for Todrick. Now Todrick looks real funny style, and now you're trying to separate. You're trying to do the Temptation Tootsie slide. You're trying, woo, woo. Y'all trying y'all best because now y'all realize y'all reputation on the line based off his reputation being on the line. And see, this week, with him most likely putting up a black woman, it really walks back all of the Tiffany theories and think pieces because it proves Tiffany has already shown us she's willing to be very stubborn when it comes to evil dick. She's willing to be super stubborn. You can't tell her nothing when she got a friend that she's willing to defend. For her to go back on her endorsement of Lamar and then immediately give Shayna some credit after 24 hours of fans letting her know, you know we voted for you for AFP for the same reasons we want Shayna to win, right? Are you not endorsing Shayna just because she isn't black? See, they put Tiffany into a box. The same box she allowed all of them white content creators to put straight black men in when she didn't win the game. So it's funny watching the role reversal happen and watching people who weaponize cancel culture to their benefit now have to deal with cancel culture being turned on them and see how fast they turn tail. This is why I tell y'all, bullies like Todrick in the game, the minute things don't go his way, we gonna see his real personality traits. Problem is, a season like this, we can't see his real personality traits because production keeps coddling him. And that's another reason why this rant is entitled Spoiled for Choice, because the guy is the most spoiled player by far in this entire season. He wants to prove to the entire world he's a great player, but he's unwilling to make the great move of backdooring Misha when it's staring him in the face. I get it. You want Todd gone. But if Lamar can't win a comp, why are y'all acting like Lamar is in your way from getting out Todd? He's not. The play every time is to take out Misha, and you can still drag Cynthia to end. But see, here's the problem. Todrick knows he's the outgoing HOH. Todrick, he needs somebody to win the HOH on Monday during the double and not target him, okay? That's why he's going to protect Misha. Because if he's willing to let Misha go, it's during the double, not during this week, not his week. Because he knows he gets rid of Misha, the double, his ass is gone. But that's beside the point. At the end of the day, You got on this season because you saw an opportunity. You were an opportunist. You saw the Cookout with all this clout being beloved universally by black people. You knew black people never felt that way about you, hence why you were on Facebook to research the Cookout in the first place. Facebook don't like the Cookout, so I already knew you was looking in the wrong place anyway to learn what it really was. And that's why before the season I told y'all, if he had the Cookout in his house and he didn't ask them on ways on how to play this game, if he doesn't implement a similar strategy to what they would have, then it exposes he was using them. Now we not only know he was a recruit who wasn't even watching them from the start, we know that for a fact. So it shows his personality right then and there. And all of a sudden, Tiffany and Hannah's your best friends. Oh, they're my friends. You just met them, and you didn't even like them enough to watch them from day one. But okay, whatever you say, okay? So you got to understand what's going on here. A lot of grifting. A lot of grandioso grifting. You can hashtag that one. So understand, this guy, Todrick, has positioned himself to be this guy. He plays victim. Every time someone says him, oh, well, blonde-haired white women don't deserve to say the game is unfair. White men don't deserve to say the game is unfair. I'm a black man. Oh, I have the right to say the game is unfair. Says the guy who's been spoiled the majority of the game. If anyone has a right to say the game is unfair, it's everyone but you and Misha. Okay? So at the end of the day, the guy virtue signals left and right, but the minute he gets called out on something, even his support system won't even call it down the middle. Because they don't want to get evicted. And they ain't even in the game no more. You feel dig me? Oh, we going in tonight. We going in tonight. And see, this is why I told the Cookout it was an L to be connected to this fool. I saw it a mile away. They didn't want to listen to me. People thought I was just hating. People thought I was just phobic. Nah, man. I know some stuff, man. I've been in this game for 5 to 6 years. I know people in every facet of the Big Brother spectrum. People throw me tidbits. I'm not saying I'm spoiler guy, spoiler king. I'm just saying I know my stuff. So when I say stuff, please give me the benefit of the doubt because I'm not saying it to be malicious. And I tried to tell y'all he would not play a pro-black game, even though he had a pro-black alliance, the most successful alliance of all time, staying in his damn house. When he said his favorite players of all time were white women, and then he comes in the game and tries to bash and target nothing but white women while protecting one white woman and putting her on a pedestal above everyone else black, I knew this guy is so full of crap. At every turn, he's a walking contradiction. He's a contradiction or something like that. I was trying to figure out a way to fit Todrick's name in a contradiction. It didn't work well for me. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, Todd winning this veto is what was needed. We needed some parity. We needed something unexpected. Todd needed Lamar to back him up by winning HOH. Lamar failed to do so. In my opinion, Lamar blew his chance at America's favorite player right there. You know, I don't believe an AFP should ever be rewarded when they haven't won a damn comp. People said Davon deserved AFP because she at least won that one veto. Then when Alyssa won the same one, people said the veto was too easy. Make up your mind. All right? We just watched the easiest veto comp of all time. Oh, follow this picture with 3 cars moving in and out. That's way easier than the veto Davon and Alyssa won. Okay? But Cynthia could barely score a point on that. So at the end of the day, what you got to understand is, look, I get it. People like Lamar more than Todd. But if you're a real fan of this game, you should have been putting your eggs in the Todd basket more than Lamar. If your argument is Lamar deserves AFP because he needs the money, Todd needs the money more. If your argument is Lamar deserves to win AFP because he's the only one willing to go after that duo, well, Todd is now because, number one, they just put him on the block, and last week they tried to come at his neck and he was pissed about it. So understand, Todd is the one we need to be rallying behind. Lamar is going to be sent to the Shadow Realm this week because Todrick is a damn coward, and that's where the game is. Unfortunately, that is the truth, Coach. That is the truth. And see, I don't want to hear people copping any pleas. I don't want to hear it. Tiffany specifically should not be copping any pleas for this man. Because if he's willing, because she's the one on Twitter saying, backdoor Misha, backdoor Misha, backdoor Misha. Well, if Todrick doesn't backdoor Misha, are you going to finally start holding him accountable? Because it sure seems like on all these platforms you go on, you refuse to hold him accountable because that's my friend. Well, you don't have any integrity then. You shouldn't be covering the game this season. You should take this season off. You're too close to it. Your conflict of interest is too strong. I don't care if you're my friend or not. I'm going to tell the truth about your game. because I have integrity. And see, the fact that she was so stubborn when it came to ED, but she immediately folded on Shanna, that immediately told me her not endorsing Shanna was connected to her connection to Todrick. So if you're willing to not endorse a woman for an award over a black man, when you came out of BB23 and won AFP by making black men the bad guy and promoting feminism, it once again shows even Tiffany grifted. See, y'all not hearing me. This week is exposing all of these people. Now you see why they're all in cahoots with each other. Listen, man, there's no honor among thieves. And sometimes you got to stay loyal to people who got some dirt on you. So here we are. But to get back to the strategy of this season, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be too messy. Hey, salute to Keith Holloway for the super chat. I appreciate you, sir. I'm shocked y'all are up this late. I did this live stream out of nowhere, not expecting y'all to be here, but I knew that I needed to give the streets this rant now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, by me doing the rant tonight, I can take tomorrow night off, enjoy the NBA All-Star game, and then I could come back for the double eviction. Because we know how Monday night's episode is going to go. Oh, Todd is the target. Todd's the target. We're not going to get a veto competition during that episode. The veto competition most likely going to be during Monday's double eviction episode. So really, tomorrow night's episode is worthless because we already know the veto results and we already know the noms, right? And there's not many conversation on feeds to be had because everything else is self-explanatory. So that's why I said, man, let me go ahead and do this rant now for the culture. The culture needs to hear this, all right? So Todrick on feeds has been trying to convince Cynthia, like, hey, Todd and Lamar have been together all game. I've been with Misha. You've been with CARSON. You know, at the end of the day, it just makes sense for you to work with me and Misha. That don't even make any sense. You know? Oh, so we're the strongest duo left. You should work with us over the weakest duo left. That don't even add up. Now, here's the thing. It still makes the most sense for Cynthia's game because I don't think she can beat Todd at this point, and I think it's close, her versus Lamar. But Lamar is not going to make it out of this week because, once again, Todrick is unwilling to backdoor Misha, even though it's staring him in the face. So after this season, Todrick, I do not want to hear you complaining that people don't look at your game seriously enough. We underrate you as a player. We overrate other people. If you claim you're Dan Giesling in the DR, allegedly, to production, well, Dan Giesling did Shane dirty at this moment of the game. Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Hey, Shane, I don't feel that safe. Can you use veto on me, bro? Replace me on the block. And, wait, is that what happened? Or did he get Shane's? I think he did get Shane to use veto on him. Shane replaced him in Final Four, and then he voted Shane out with the sole vote to evict. At the end of the day, you want to talk about Dan Giesling. Dan Giesling was willing to jump into that villainous pool, and he was willing to just absorb all of the chemicals like it's the Acme factory from Batman. He was willing to absorb it all and become Bane, okay? He was willing to bring some reckoning to the game. You, Todrick, you're a villain who just wants to be a hero who unfortunately doesn't have the skill set to play an heroic game because you're too catty. You're too petty. And that's the truth. But kudos to you. You've won a veto now. You've won an HOH now. You're padding your stats. But the way you treat people matters in this game, bro. It matters. And I don't even want to call you bro because you about to have 2 black people on the block during your HOH week. You ain't no bro to me. Let's talk about it. You ain't no bro to me. And honestly, Hannah, Kylan, Tiffany, that other girl that was sitting on that couch when Kylan went crazy that one night, I can understand that one girl stays in that house. Hannah, Kylan, whoever that's in that house, y'all should be packing y'all stuff and leaving the minute you find out he's not willing to backdoor Misha. Because I'd argue this is the same conundrum Tiffany had that I clowned, remember? Tiffany was forced to backdoor Claire. Or she would have had to throw up Big D next to Xavier and force a black man out the game. Remember that? Tiffany knew for her reputation, she had to do what was bad for her initial game because she knew she would be rewarded for it later, possibly with that AFP. And she did. Do you really believe if Tiffany would have guaranteed a black man went home before Claire, she wins AFP? No, she wouldn't have. She probably would have made a little bit further in the game. Because in theory, X would have got taken out over Big D. But I think in that situation, Kylan would have just been handed the game. So, or Hannah possibly. I think that could have opened the door for Hannah to yoke everyone. I think Xavier, I think Xavier being there stopped Hannah from rising, in my opinion. I still hold on to that I think Hannah is an underrated player to a certain degree. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Tiffany had this same decision. She was spoiled for choice in the exact same way. And I may say a lot of things about her, but she made the right decision then. For her long-term reputation, she made the right business decision. If she would have protected Claire, do you realize the other 4 Cookout members would have been at her head top? Shoot, Claire may have skated to the end after that. Todrick, you have the same decision on your hands. Granted, there's less players in the game while you're making this decision. But your fear of Todd should not outweigh your fear of Misha. It shouldn't. Especially when you have dealt with identity issues, not feeling black enough when it comes to straight black men. Aren't you just justifying how those beings may have mistreated you in the past by making this decision to throw up Cynthia over Misha? All you're doing is proving your naysayers right. This is the moment to prove them all wrong. Are you so stubborn that you're unwilling to do the right thing for your own game? Just to say you had the best 2-person alliance that we've seen when it ain't even that? Really, bro? Like, there is no logic behind keeping Misha outside of Todrick doesn't believe he can win the veto over Todd next week. That really is the only. But see, Todd bet on himself and won veto over y'all 2 this week. Why does Todd have more balls to face you 2 than you have to sacrifice Misha and face Todd 1v1 next week? This is exposing your inner coward. See, Todrick, someone who's had the Cookout in his house, he should love the fact that he has the opportunity to guarantee 4 black people are the only ones left. He should be looking at this as the opportunity to go, see guys, Cookout came to my house for a reason, because I created Cookout too. This would be his moment to act like this was all his plan all along and yada yada. He could literally walk back a lot of his negative PR with that. Now, here's the thing. I don't think you can walk back all of it because even in his early years, he was an idiot. The man was going around making fun of homeless people, the video circulating on Twitter. It's an L all around. And that's another reason why Kylan, Hannah, and Tiffany, y'all need to get out of bounds. Y'all need to get out of there, man. It's the movie Get Out right now. Get Out. Y'all on the R. Kelly trapped in the mansion side of the game. I gotta keep it a being in these streets. Trapped in the closet. It's time to leave, y'all. If this guy does not backdoor Misha, y'all are gonna get so many people coming at y'all because we can't get at Todrick yet. I'm not endorsing that. I'm not sicking anyone in the RBR family on y'all to do that. Let me state that specifically. But y'all have to understand, the longer you stay over there when he does all this effed up stuff, the more it sounds like you support every decision he makes. We know how this goes. During BB23, you made it seem like any black man who supported Xavier had to be a misogynist because they supported him, who you said was what? The same thing applies to Todrick right now, who has also proven himself to be a misogynist. But I don't see anywhere near the same energy from the Tiffany hive, proving once again it was a grift. So understand, I want people to keep that same energy. Shanna deserves the AFP. Todrick has a tough choice on his hands, but now I want to answer some questions from the fans because now I want to see y'all perspective on all of this, right? Do y'all believe there's any chance, if y'all had to put a percentage on it, what's the percentage chance that Todrick actually throws up Misha? I'd say it's 5%. Seriously, I'd say it's 5%. It might be lower than that, but I think it's about 5%. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on my way to the Bat Cave. We only 29 minutes in, but I think I got every thought I wanted to get out in rapid fire succession. I know y'all got lives to live, you know what I mean? And I'm definitely not trying to hold y'all too long. But I wanted to make sure the truth was stated here. And salute to you, Selena, for the super chat as well. Hold on, let me give out some Infinity Stones here. Selena, you have your Infinity Stone now. Keith Holloway, you now have your Infinity Stone now. Welcome to the squad. And I believe I've already hooked up Lola and Ann already, so that's good. Oh, it's morning for you, Zion? Oh, you must be across the pond, huh? Because it's 11:30 where I'm at right now, you know? And see, Xavier, Big D, and Ozza, by comparison, their stock just rose to the ceiling. Big D is being rumored to be on some new CBS challenge show. Salute to you, bro. Go get that money. Go separate yourself from the cookout. And I've seen pictures of him. He's lost some weight. He's getting swole again. He's gonna make his pops proud, and that's good to know, man. I would like to see Big D showcase himself outside of Made and, of course, BB23. So salute to him. He's expanding his horizons. He's taking chances, right? X, the man's a lawyer. He's Professor Xavier. He never really needed the cookout. You know what I'm saying? He never really needed the approval of Todrick. And that's why he's living his best life. Ozza, she's making cookbooks. She's pleasing people on Instagram. She's a great personality on Twitter. She's minding her own business. And she supports Cynthia. But outside of that, she don't support Todrick. So I can accept that. And please hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. But across the board, the 3 people who made Final 3 during BB23, all of them are still doing all of the right things. Whereas the ones who got 6th, 5th, and 4th place, they're being swindled and fooled into ruining their own clout that they gained from BB23 because of the guy's house that they are currently inside of. Y'all need to wake up here. Y'all need to wake up. I don't care how good the amenities are. I don't care about none of that stuff. At the end of the day, y'all got a decent stipend from BB23. Y'all don't need that man. And honestly, I don't get why Kylan and Tiffany don't just move in with each other. And Hannah's supposed to go back to school anyway. Leave this dude alone, bro. That's the best advice I can give y'all. Yeah. You know what, Abdi? It might just be 0%. You might have a point. Because there's no way Todrick has the stones to prove himself to be a great player by throwing up Misha. He fears the idea of a straight black man winning this over him. He'd rather let a white woman win than a straight black man after talking all that stuff about Shanna and TEDDI being white women who were spoiled rotten. If this isn't the most ironic turn of events I've ever seen, I don't know what else is. I hate to say I told y'all so, but I told you so. Oh, it was Danielle, not Shane. Oh, okay. Abdi says, I didn't want Candy sitting next to Tamar in Final 2. Tamar would have got robbed sitting next to Candy. There's an argument to be had there because Tamar did stump on Tom Green's grave. So I think a lot of people could have been bitter towards her. I think they was just more bitter towards Ricky Williams. Selena asked the question, why do you want to play Big Brother on race? What should mixed race players do? Stop dividing. I'm not dividing anything. And who's the mixed race player on this season? Who are you referring to? Who's mixed race here? I mean, Shayna is mixed with all type of cultures, but no one ever gives her credit for that when it comes to the AFP. People want to use identity politics when it comes to other people, but then when it comes to Shayna, they act as if her being a descendant of a melting pot of all different cultures shouldn't help her in the vote. So I don't really know what you're saying there, Miss Selena. I really don't know where you're going at with that. Todrick is the one who used the cookout to make himself be about the black race, when his whole music career, he's never really been about the black race. And I tried to tell people that. And at the end of the day, I don't even know why mixed race was in your comment, but everybody isn't good at debating, so. I mean, it is what it is. But I appreciate the 5, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They treating Todrick House like it's an Airbnb. You ain't lying about that, Rod. You ain't lying about that. You ain't. But come on, man. The ages of some of these people that are using it as an Airbnb, come on, man. We expect better from y'all, man. Y'all are the gold standard of black players to play Big Brother. Why don't they get this? They got it in the house, but they don't get it outside of the house enough for my taste. This is why we were mad at Tiffany for being close to ED in the first place. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get angry. I'm just saying it benefits people who didn't like the cookout for the cookout to be this close to Todrick, and that's what they're not grasping. That's what they're not grasping. And it just sets a precedent where we won't get another cookout, but we already knew that part, though. But I mean, dang, at least make it hard not to get another one. Lola, I live in Illinois, Lola. I'm more of a central time person. So it's like 11:40 where I'm at. Oh, yeah, definitely to the void, Abdi. I'm talking Loki style. You know what I mean? Abdi asks question, are fans still silent about Toddler's game? No, I think tonight's episode finally showed casuals the real Toddler, because you got to understand, the edit was portraying him to be a mastermind. And don't get it twisted. He has willed and dealed. I do not want the narrative to be that I have not given Todrick credit for the game he has played. But with that said, if you're going to play the game where you want to be called a mastermind, the next step in being a mastermind is taking Misha out. And if you're not straight, why are you simping for Misha at all? Great comment there, Ann. What is the simping about? I don't get it. If you ask me, he's confused. If you ask me, Misha's more of his wife than Lamar would ever be his husband. So why is he even claiming Lamar as his husband on this episode? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Because if you truly cared about Lamar, you don't throw up Cynthia. You don't. Because throwing up Cynthia sends Lamar home. That's the truth. The guy claims, I have so much in common. I have so many touching conversations with Lamar about all these different things. At the end of the day, the reason why you finna send Lamar home is because he G-checked you on the fact that you do not keep that same energy with Misha that you kept with Shanna. And because Lamar was man enough to say it to your face, and because you fear him physically, you never really owned up to the hypocrisy there. Huh? You just made it seem like blonde hair was the difference in the equation. Man, listen. What color your hair is don't matter. It's about the content of your character and how good you play this game. And at the end of the day, Todrick, your character is in the mud, and your game is decent. But the amount of help you've been getting, it feels like you are on training wheels while everyone else has to ride their bikes for the first time without them. Everyone else is crashing, skinning their knees on the sidewalk, crying. You're the guy with training wheels who just rode his way to the park, never had any turbulence in his ride, never stumbled, never fumbled. And now you're at the park waiting for your friends, acting like, man, this was a lot easier than the Cookout said this game would be. I think I'm better than every member of that alliance now. And the way you failed to give X any credit for his game, it shows me that you think you're a better player than him. But fans all know that isn't true either. At all. I agree, Insulin. Being pro-black isn't dividing. You know, I would expect anybody to root for someone they can relate to first and foremost. But with that said, I endorse Shanna for AFP. How can anyone say I'm being divisive? Like, what? So this is proof the person who said that probably is a Tiffany stan that didn't like the fact that I called her out and exposed her. That's probably what it is. Because, see, when I'm just exposing Todrick, a black man, people ain't that mad about that. Yeah, keep going, bro. And isn't it a little weird how now all of a sudden Lamar gets all of this love from so many people that X didn't get when X was actually a fantastic player? Isn't that weird to y'all? It's almost as if they like Lamar because he wasn't a good player. It's almost like they're laughing at him while acting like they're laughing with him. And that's why I didn't want him winning AFP. Because everybody who told me they wanted him to win it, when I asked them why, they couldn't give me an answer that made any sense. They wouldn't even respond, to be honest, because they knew it was identity politics. At the end of the day, Shayna the only one who deserves that award, man. And hopefully she does get it. And the amount of people who have mobilized to give her some credit and to support her in this, I rock with that. Because like I said in the last rant, this should be about gameplay and likability. It shouldn't just be based on likability. And why is Lamar only likable when he simps over Khloe Kardashian all the time? When he's farting all the time? Why is that likable from a straight black man? But what Xavier was doing somehow wasn't. You see my point here? Seems like straight black men are only appreciated when we can't win. And this is why I'm threatening to a lot of people, because I can see through their genjutsu and tell you what they're really doing. Oh, you Wisconsin? That's what's up, Lola. Hey, shout outs to the Midwest. We in the building. You know what I mean? Okay. That's what's up, Ollie. I didn't know you was in Cali. Shout outs to you. Abdi asked the question, did Todd get mad at Toddler for putting him on the block? I don't really know the details of that. From my perspective, Todd knew he was going to touch the block the minute Lamar did not win HOH. He knew it. Everyone knows at this point that Cynthia doesn't touch the block unless veto was won by someone not named Misha or Todrick. And that's why Cynthia's going to touch the block now. And see, to me, now Cynthia has a responsibility. Because the minute Todrick throws her up over Misha on her birthday weekend, I need her to have some anger towards Todrick for the first time all season that matches the anger she had towards Shanna. Because at the end of the day, the anger she had for Shanna was based off moves Todrick also made that Shanna made too. Granted, Shanna outed the formation, and then Todrick blamed Cynthia for outing the formation. So that was still Todrick's fault for why Cynthia's game could have been rocky at the start. But once again, she doesn't know all of this. But my point is, if Todrick, your adopted son, throws you on the block during your birthday weekend because he's too scared to allow Misha to be sent to the Shadow Realm, who is the biggest threat to every black person imaginable, after clout chasing the cookout, if Cynthia does not hold him accountable for that move on Monday's episode, if she just acts like, oh, he had no other choice, I wouldn't expect him to choose me over Misha. If I see stuff like that from her, I'm going to be very disappointed. Because I already told y'all she was going to align with them no matter what. So if she isn't angry on her birthday weekend about touching the block, we know she is 100% with them over Todd in Final Four. It's that simple. And honestly, Cynthia, you should be wanting Lamar and Todd with you in Final Four. You should want them both there before Misha. Because Misha winning Final 3 HOH is the only way you probably don't make Final 2, Cynthia. So you should be vexed if you touch that block before her. You should be vexed. Especially when last week they already broke their word to CARSON. This guy, Todrick, tells you all he wants is to be in Final 2. A gay black man with a black woman, yes! But he'll nominate you on your birthday weekend? Listen. You giving this man 9 lives. If you do not hold him accountable, I need to see a confessional of her holding him accountable. I need to see something. That's all I'm saying. All right? I need to see something. Rod asked the question, Coach, when has Misha saved Todrick's game for him to have all this loyalty to her? That's a great question. I guess you can argue her backdooring Chris was the time she saved his game. Because if she doesn't backdoor Chris, and let's say she instead throws up a Lamar in that situation, maybe, because Chris KATTAN was already gone, right? That's why Shayna won the veto. That's why she took off CARSON, yada, yada, and that's why Chris was the best option available. In my opinion, Misha making the tough decision to backdoor Chris because there was no other option of a big threat to take out for her game is the same decision you can argue Todrick has right now to take out Misha. It's the same exact thing. Misha's loyal to you, but Chris was loyal to her. You know what I'm saying? She showed the cutthroat gene to take him out to protect you. Why can't you show the cutthroat gene to take her out to protect Cynthia, to protect Lamar, to protect Todd? What flaw is in your nature, Todrick, that you're willing to lose to her, but you're not willing to win by taking her out? Shit, if I didn't know any better, you and Grodner are working to help Misha win. If I didn't know any better. Because if you're actually trying to win this game, it doesn't make any sense not to throw her up. It doesn't make any sense. But this is more par for the course because this entire season has been nonsensical gameplay that we can't make any sense out of. Mr. Ty asks a question. Do you think production and Julie would let the jury call out Todrick on his antics finale night? I think production wants Todrick in Final Two because they want ratings from seeing him lose. They would be fools to not give fans what they want, the jury what they want. They would be fools. Now, knowing production, they're not going to want to be portrayed in the light of we throw castmates or house guests under the bus on finale night. They're not going to want that to be their reputation, because then that could lead to them having a harder time casting for Celebrity Big Brother Season 4 in theory. But I do believe to an extent they see the way the wind is blowing similar to how Tiffany now sees it. I think production's going to pivot. I think they're going to give Shanna the spotlight to go in. I think they're going to give TEDDI the spotlight to go in. And because tonight's episode, they show what happened to Chris, they're going to give Chris the spotlight to go in. If I had to make a prediction for Wednesday, I think those three will be allowed to ask a question they want to ask. I think the rest will probably not even want to get that dirty about it. But I think those three, though, when you talk about a man's son, oh, he got to come see you about that. Huh? He got to G-check you. TEDDI, all the stuff he said about her and her family to boot, oh, she got some stuff to say about that. Shanna, I've already mentioned enough about her. So, if it behooves Big Brother and CBS 1,000% to allow some drama, for sure. Because it's more likely going to be a 2-hour episode. You want to have viewer retention. You want to convince the viewer. You want to give them a reason to show up on minute 1 to watch the entire finale. You don't want viewers showing up for the last hour to just see who gets crowned. And the only way to do that is to allow this jury to have a legit contribution to the finale in some way, shape, or form. So, listen, if I was giving some advice to CBS, let those three say what they need to say. You feel me? Let them say it. Thank you, Lola. She says I'm the least divisive guy and I'm crushing. Hey, salute. I appreciate you. I appreciate you more than you know. Lamar is just there. He's not really playing the game. Oz and Big D play better. See Rod saying some hot takes that's hard for people to digest, but it's true. Big D was a better player than Lamar. Now, both didn't win anything. That's true. But Big D knew how to play certain people. Listen, Lamar's entire game is, I'm just going to act like I don't know the game. After a certain point, all right, bro, we need you to act like you understand that Todd needs you to win this comp now. Like, okay, the joke is getting a little stale now. We're at the end of the game. There's no one left to keep playing like you don't know what you're doing. They're sending you home this week anyway, whether you know it or know the game or not. Damn, bro, it's time to compete. You know what I mean? And that's why I was trying to tell people, it's premature to give Lamar an AFP when he has not proven himself yet. If he would have won that HOH, I would be the first person to show up here during this same rant and go, look, I do not mind Lamar winning AFP over Shanna now. Because he would have had played a role in splitting up Misha and Todrick by winning it. Now it's all on Todd again to do it. Okay? Because we can't really depend on Cynthia to do it. So, listen, this goes back to how I opened up this rant. Todd was the one we should have been putting them votes on. Huh? He's the one who really needs the money. He wasn't no NBA player who made over $30 million. And I know Lamar's had some problems and yada, yada. I'm not trying to downplay those issues. But I think from a PR standpoint, Lamar has been very intelligent to come on this season. He's changed the entire narrative of who he is as a human being. He will have plenty of opportunities. Before the season, he just said he wanted to jump on this show to be able to do meet and greets and get paid for it. Trust me, bro, you're going to have more opportunities doing a lot more than just that coming out of this show. I'm seeing people say they would love to watch a show with you just being in your house just saying stuff. Okay? So Lamar could become a Twitch streamer. He could become an influencer. He can do anything at this point. So I want y'all to understand, me saying Lamar doesn't deserve AFP over Shanna, it's not me cutting him down. It's me keeping it a beam. And that's what y'all are here to hear, you know? Y'all not here to hear me lie to y'all. You know, like, for real. Cynthia will find a way. I don't know. I ain't even going to finish that sentence. People going to say, oh, you got an agenda. Why would you read that out? Rod says, Coach, does Celebrity Big Brother ever have a battle pack? I know the season is short, but seeing CARSON come back would have been great. I think if KATTAN did not leave the way he did, we could have had something special. I think him leaving the way he did made them scrap a twist. Because we're still getting a double eviction on Monday. So they didn't scrap that. So that shows me they scrapped something else. And I would love to know if Spoiler Guy, Spoiler Gang could let us know. Maybe he's already said and I just wasn't following him at that time. But I would love to know what twist they had in plans before KATTAN left. Because that twist, in theory, could have been what we needed to shake up the game. But we'll never know now because KATTAN was hurting. And I hope he does. I hope he is feeling better. Oliver says Shanna needs to be AFP, and if not her, it has to be NSYNC. Now, I don't agree with that. I think Chris Kirkpatrick, his HOH week, Shanna wins veto. Listen, it's live TV right now. Listen, come on, bruh. All you had to do is be like, Shanna, use that thing. We pulling that trigger. Now, granted, Todrick wouldn't have left that week. I've already documented that, but that was the week to take out Misha. And for whatever reason, he was refusing to take out Misha because he believed that was his only shield. And he may have been right with that. But at the end of the day, Misha ended up backdooring you the following week. If you take Misha out that early, I personally believe Todrick's game is completely different for the rest of the season. Todrick is forced to kowtow to Lamar and Todd and rely on them more. Todrick probably flips back to the pink room that week if Misha gets backdoored by Chris Kirkpatrick. And that changes everything. So, and that may have made Todrick a little bit more likable. So I like this timeline more because people see the truth. I'm just saying what it is. Patricia Wright asks a question. Have you ever auditioned for Big Brother? I'd love to see you in the house. Patricia, you have sent a super chat in recently. You have your Infinity Stones now, miss. But I have auditioned before in the past 2 different times. They wasn't trying to hear me out. I'm going to audition again, but not for BB24. It's a setup. Listen, it's an ambush. You feel dig me? No, sir, Bob. Listen, I wasn't born yesterday. I was not born yesterday. That is not the season I want to shine on. BB25, when stuff dies down and people may or may not forget about the cookout after a little while, I'm willing to audition for that. You know what I mean? But not for 24, bro. 24, nah, bruh. I don't want to be nowhere near that. You feel it, dig me? No, sir. No, sir. You couldn't pay me enough to be on 24. On everything I love. Enjoy your Sunday, too, as well, Zion. If Lamar played a strategic game and won a comp, I would endorse for AFP, but he's just chilling. Exactly, Rod. That's all we're saying. That's all we just wanted him to finish a little bit. You know, he's an athlete. He knows the importance of knocking down a shot, getting some rhythm, building off of that rhythm. And then you on a hot streak. You microwaving. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get it twisted. He's got a little bit of assists here and there. You know, he understands who needs to go next, so his game awareness is sound for someone who might not get the game like a super fan would, and I see that making him be super endearing to a lot of people. I'm not trying to disregard any of these thoughts or feelings or emotions. I'm just saying that come on, y'all. Come on. If you take all of the things Shanna tried to do out of this season, we would be even more bored. It's just the truth, you know? So, I agree, Kirkpatrick did kind of flop. Yeah. They would call him Kirk Flopdrick in these streets, you know? Rod said, I asked the question, Coach, would TEDDI and Shanna become a duo or final 2 if they both were currently still in the game? No. I think Shanna got rid of TEDDI because TEDDI was always going to be more loyal to CARSON and Cynthia than she was ever going to be to Shanna. This is what pushed Shanna closer to Kirkpatrick. If TEDDI was still in the game, I do believe Shanna, Kirkpatrick, TEDDI, and CARSON could have worked together in theory if Cynthia wasn't in the season. But Cynthia being there, CARSON feeling like he had to always protect the black woman at all times, it forced him down the path of never really being able to be loyal to Shanna before Cynthia, and that's why he backdoored Shanna for Cynthia. Rod says Dave should go on Amazing Race. That's the only CBS show he hadn't gave that smoke. I don't understand the game. Y'all would literally be on there watching me, and y'all would be like, hey, man, Dave for AFP, because he the Lamar Odom of Amazing Race. I would not know what I'm doing on that show. Listen, give me a partner who knows what they're doing, and I'll just give the great confessionals for her. You know what I'm saying? I'll just be reacting to stuff. Like, man, they really finna make me eat this? What? I don't even know what that is, bruh. Like, why we gotta go to the Eiffel Tower right now? It's 30 degrees outside. Like, I would come up with some, and see, that's the thing. I don't think CBS understands the confessional game that I would unleash on the world. They think these folks are funny. They think Johnny Mac was funny. It's levels to this. That's all I'm gonna say. But I don't want to toot my own horn because I gotta back it up one day if it happens. So I'm just gonna stay humble about it. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 17th rant of Big Brother Celebrity 3. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves. It was entitled Spoiled for Choice. If you could, please do not forget to hit that like button, comment underneath this video, and share it with all of the fans of Big Brother Celebrity Season 3 that you rock with. What are your thoughts? What is your percentage chance? What is your prediction that Todrick even considers backdooring Misha Tate? Do you think it would even cross his mind? Do you think the edit on Monday will try to make it seem like he will backdoor her, similar to how the edit tried to make it seem like CARSON would stay over Lamar? I think they'll do that little swerve tactic to keep some viewer retention before the double eviction in the second hour. I think it's telegraphed at this point. But at the end of the day, Todrick's behavioral patterns suggest he will never betray Misha before someone black. And it really is a demerit on the legacy of Kylan, Hannah, and Tiffany that they stood by this man just for him to prove himself to be anti-black by definition. He virtue signals. He makes it seem like he understands the black struggle when it's convenient. He bashes white women, makes it seem like all of their problems and issues don't matter when it's convenient. But then when Misha's problems reach the front door, when her problems get brought to Front Street, now he tries to make it seem like everyone should stop what they're doing just for a little old Misha. At the end of the day, all I ask is for some consistency. If I see inconsistency in your actions, then I know you're full of crap and I can't take you seriously. And that's the problem I have with certain people outside the game, within the game, the whole nine. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This was an impromptu rant out of nowhere. I'm not going to do a rant on Sunday night now because you all are set up for success. I will see you all back for the double eviction episode on Monday night. Until next time, deuces. The Stones, they have a mind of their own. If I snap, you'll disappear. Just like Todrick's reputation in the black community. It's time to get out, Kylan. It's time to get out, Hannah. Tiffany, you're the elder here. You need to give them some good advice and get them out of there. You got the money. Huh? Bring them to your crib. You feel it, dig me? I'll see y'all on Monday night. Deuces. I am.